Hello, welcome to my channel Tech with Kazim. Today we're going to look at how to install VirtualBox on Windows 10 or Windows 11. So please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you. So the first thing we're going to do is to install VirtualBox on us. So VirtualBox is from Oracle and it allows you to have virtual machines on your laptop, so you can actually have an host machine running a different operating system, and you can also install another OS on the VirtualBox entirely. So in this case, we have our host machine, which is a Windows 10 laptop, and we're going to install Ubuntu Linux on the VirtualBox so that we'll be able to use it. So the first thing, we're going to install VirtualBox, and the link is there. I'm also going to be dropping this link in the description below, and also when we're done, then we're going to install Ubuntu. So first, I'm going to copy this link to show you how to install VirtualBox from the website. So just launch the VirtualBox here. Yeah, so this is the VirtualBox homepage, and the latest, you can download the latest edition, which is 7.0. so you just have to click on it, then it's going to download. But I've already downloaded the virtual. So you choose your host. So if you're using the Windows, if you want to install the VirtualBox on a Windows laptop in the Windows host, so you choose Windows. If it is Mac or the Linux distribution, or you're using Solaris, so you install. So if you, let's say you want to install on the Windows, so you click on the Windows host. When you just click on it, then the download starts here. So I'm going to stop it because I already have VirtualBox here. So I have the VirtualBox 6.1.2 here. So then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to install Ubuntu. So you have to download the ISO file for the Ubuntu. So we're going to mount the ISO file. We're going to install it on the VirtualBox. So you copy the link. I'll also be dropping this link in the description. So let me show you the Ubuntu. So you visit the Ubuntu website. You can download the latest edition for the Ubuntu as well. For this tutorial, as at the time of recording this video, the latest Ubuntu is a 22.04, and which will be downloaded. So you click this download link here, and you have the latest Ubuntu here. You click, there's the 22.04, the LTS, the long time support version. So when you click on it, you'll see the Ubuntu will also start. It's quite it might take some time. As you can see, it's about 4.6 GB here, so you just be patient for it to download. So I'm going to stop this because I've already downloaded Ubuntu, and here it is. I have my Ubuntu 22.04, the ISO file. You'll see the entire link. We have desktop, AMD64. So now that we've downloaded VirtualBox, and we also downloaded Ubuntu, so the next thing you have to do is to run. You're going to double click, or you run as administrator to install it. You're going to install the VirtualBox, not the Ubuntu. So you click yes to install. So when you click next to install the VirtualBox, it's going to be preparing to install. Then you see a page like this: welcome to Oracle VirtualBox. You next it. Okay, I'm only having these options because I've already installed the VirtualBox on my machine. So you just follow the defaults, and next till you complete. So when you're done, I have to cancel this because I already have VirtualBox running on my PC. So when you're done, that's all. Then the next thing you need to do is to launch. So this is the Oracle that I have here, is to launch the Oracle VirtualBox. So I'm going to just double click on it to launch it. Alright, so this is how it's telling me to upgrade, so I can do that later. So I have the Oracle VirtualBox here. So I already have an OS running, which is Ubuntu 20.04. So one thing is you can just install, and so I have Ubuntu 22.04 here, which I can as well use. So now that you have these, so now that you've downloaded and installed the VirtualBox, and you've also downloaded the ISO file for Ubuntu that I will be using in this tutorial. So, and when you launch the VirtualBox, you have an interface like this. So the next thing to do is to click on New, So we want to create a new machine. So I'm going to type Ubuntu 22 here because I have one Ubuntu 20 there. So I'm going to click Ubuntu 22.04. So automatically when you type Ubuntu, the VirtualBox automatically recognizes the type and the version, and you see it automatically selected Linux because Ubuntu is a Linux kernel, and it selected the operating system, which is 64-bit for us. However, you can change if you want to change, maybe if your machine is 32-bit or the likes, or if you type a name here that the VirtualBox did not recognize, so you can actually select the type. We have Microsoft Windows here, Linux, Solaris, BSD, IBM, Mac, or others. And you can select the appropriate version for. So now, when you've done this, you're given the name and the type and version. So the next thing is to click on Next. So once you have the next, so Ubuntu asks you to select the memory size you're using. So I usually will take it out of the grid to 409C. So this is actually dependent on the RAM on the host machine. So I would like to leave it at 4 gigs. However, you can increase it to the green mark however you like. Then I'm going to click on Next. So next now is a hard disk. So it's going to ask you to either the options are do not add a virtual hard disk, create a virtual hard disk now, use an existing virtual hard disk, right? So I'm going to leave it as a default, which is create a virtual hard disk now. So I'm going to click on create. Then the next off screen is now the hard disk file type. So we have the VDI, that's the virtual disk image, we have the VHD, we have VMDK. So I'm going to again select the default, which is the VDI here. Then I'm going to next it. Then now VirtualBox will also ask you to select the storage on physical hard disk. So you can either choose from dynamically allocated or the fixed size. So a fixed size may take longer to create or something, but I would like to just use the default here, which is dynamically allocated. So you click on Next. Now when you click on Next here, you'll see the file location and size. By default, it will be saved in the VirtualBox VMs. However, if you want to save it in a different location, you can just click here and choose a location where you want to save it there. So I like to just save it in the VirtualBox VM default folder. Then again, the size, you can also increase the size of your the hard disk, the size of the virtual hard disk. So I would like to leave it at, let me see, so let's work with 230. So you can increase it as well. So then you click on create, and when you click on create, it's done. Now you have you've created the machine, the Ubuntu 22.04 machine. So the next thing to do now is you have to go into the settings to configure this machine how you want it to work. And what I'm going to do is make sure you selected the profile, the machine you just created. Select it this way and it's showing a blue background. Then you click on settings to go into the settings of the machine. So in the settings here, we have the general settings, the first one there. So you can see the name of the machine, which is Ubuntu 22.04. The type is Linux and the version is Ubuntu 64-bit. So if you click on the advanced tab here, so you'll be able to set the snapshot folder where it's the snapshots of the machine will be saved. And we have the shared clipboard. So this shared clipboard allows you to be able to share things between the host machine and the virtual machine. So I'm going to leave it at bi-directional so that it can go both ways, be able to share files and resources. So drag and drop also, I'm going to use bi-directional so that I'll be able to share resources between my host machine and the virtual machine. And if you go to description here, nothing to do, just leave this one, nothing. So then the next step, we'll go to the system settings, sorry. So system settings, you have the motherboard here. So, and you can also increase the memory. Okay, the memory will set, I like to leave it at 4 gig, the 4096 MB is fine. Then the processor, by default, the VirtualBox give you 1 CPU, but you can increase it depending on the machine as well. I would like to take it to 2 because I have a 4 CPU running here max, so I would like to take it to 2. Then you go to acceleration, there's nothing to do here. Then come to display. On the display tab, you can increase the video memory. I would like to take it up to the highest degree, so you should use the 128. then remote display, nothing to do, recording, just leave those ones for now. And the next thing is to go to storage. Now storage, this is where you're going to mount the ISO file, your Ubuntu ISO file you downloaded earlier. This is where we're going to mount it onto the machine. And how to do that is when you click on storage, you have this option here where you have empty. Click on the empty. So when you click on that empty under the control ID, then you're going to, in the right hand side here, you see a disk icon here. You click it, then you choose a disk file. So choose a disk file will allow you to choose the Ubuntu ISO file. If I go to downloads, I have the Ubuntu 2204 here, so I'm going to select it, then open. So once you open it, you'll see the file loaded here, the Ubuntu 2204 desktop here. And so when you're done with that. So audio you can leave that for now. The network, you can also leave the network for now the way it is. You can leave it for now here. Then the shared folders, you can do all these ones later on. So for now, I'm just going to click OK. When you click OK, now you have created the Ubuntu virtual machine, and we've applied the necessary settings in it. So the next thing is to start it, to be able to now install it. So when you click on start, it's going to prepare to run and install. So you see the virtual machine is starting now. So you're going to have this auto capture keyboard. You can just press the X to remove for now. So you have these 4 options: try or install Ubuntu. You can use the down arrow and up arrow key to traverse. You have the Ubuntu Safe Graphics, OEM install, test memory, but you choose the first one, which is try or install Ubuntu. So on the first one, so I'm going to press enter, so to install the Ubuntu. So alright, so you can see Ubuntu is preparing to install now. So the installation of Ubuntu have just begun, so just be patient. It's going to take a little while. So you can see the Ubuntu is loading now. We have it up and running now. So you can see the Ubuntu is starting now. So you're going to get this first page where you can choose the English. Again, when you choose on it, you can choose the language that you want to use. In this case, I'll be going for English. Then when you select the language, then you can now click on install Ubuntu here. Now you have options to choose the keyboard layout. So I'll be selecting English US, then select your keyboard, then click on continue at the bottom here. You see continue here, click it. And then here now you have options to choose the apps that you like to install to start with. So I'll leave this normal installation, the default normal installation. Then the download updates, well, leave that one to check. Then install third-party software, I will check this also, so that Ubuntu can install third-party software for graphics and Wi-Fi and additional media formats for me. Then on the bottom right here, you click on continue as well. So it's going to take a little while, so you have to be patient for the installation to be successful. Now next you see this window that is asking you for the installation type. You have the erase disk and install Ubuntu option here, and you also have something else. So usually choose this one, erase disk and install it, but don't worry, nothing will be erased on your host machine. You're fine, nothing will be deleted. You don't need to worry about that. Just click on the install now at the bottom right. Okay, so you can just say continue. Now you are asked to choose the location. So by default I have my own location set here as Lagos, so you can also select your own location that you are. So you have options here to select location. So I'm going to leave it as Lagos, and I'm going to click continue. Now you have this window where you can now name your Ubuntu OS. So I'm going to give it my Ubuntu. I'm going to give it just my Ubuntu. I'm going to give it a name. Alright, so I don't usually like VirtualBox, so you can leave it as VirtualBox. You can leave it as VirtualBox that way. So let's leave it as VirtualBox. So it's not my Ubuntu VirtualBox, but the thing is it may be too long when you're trying to, so I like to use a shorter name instead. So let's leave it as my Ubuntu, so using a shorter name. Then you can choose a password for it. So I'm going to choose password for it, man. So you can actually choose a strong password if you so wish. So when you're done, I can just click on continue. So it's going to start copying files. So this process may also take a while, so you have to be patient for it to finish. So the process will take a little while, so be patient. So one is done, this moving icon, this moving red in the gray area reaches the end, and you will see the status. All right, now the installation is complete. So when the installation is complete, you're going to have a window like this saying installation is complete, and you need to restart the computer, the machine. So click restart now. So you're going to click restart now to restart the machine to apply all the changes that it has gone through. So you can now see that the Ubuntu virtual machine is currently restarting. So now it's saying please remove the installation medium and press enter. So we're going to just press enter. I will hit on the enter on my keyboard. Then you have it restarting now. You can just close this. So the virtual machine is restarting right now. You can close this now. So now our Ubuntu virtual machine is ready, so we're going to log in now. We'll log in with the password that we created it with earlier. Now the Ubuntu virtual machine is ready, up and running now, but there are still a few things. We don't have optimal performance yet. Like if I maximize it, you can see that the Ubuntu window, the Ubuntu screen does not cover the window. So so the Ubuntu is now ready now. So now the next thing now is you have some options like connect to online account. We can skip this and do this later. To enable Ubuntu Pro, we can also next it to do that later. Then would you like to send this information? So you can just next this. So you can also next this, then done. Now our Ubuntu virtual machine is up and running. You can see that when I maximize the window, the Ubuntu screen does not cover the entire screen. So this is not the optimal performance. So for best performance and to have extra functionalities in your virtual machine, you need to do one more thing, which is to install the guest additions on it. So to do this, we're going to work with some command first. So you're going to come here, and when you click on the show applications here at the bottom left, then here you can just search for terminal All right, here it is. Then you launch the terminal. The terminal is a command area where you give command to the Ubuntu machine. So here now we're going to run some few commands. I'll show you. And here first we're going to update it using sudo apt update. So I'm going to type sudo apt update. You hit the enter key. Okay, I can just install this later. So now it's asking for the password. I'm going to type in the password. Alright, now the Ubuntu is being updated right now. Alright, so now the update is done. So the next command we're going to give it is to use the sudo apt install build essentials. This command here. So sudo apt install build essential. So we're going to install build essential, the Linux headers, and the variable is a username here. This dollar username is a variable. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm going to copy these here. And I'm going to paste it here in the terminal. Alright, I can just type that right away. So just sudo. So you just have to type it sudo apt install. Yes, meaning to say yes to any prompt that comes. Then build essential. Build essential. Then for Linux headers. Linux headers and the variable username. Then I final. Then you hit the enter key. So it's going to update, install all these libraries for us, and so it's going to install all these functionalities for us, and when it's done we have to restart the system. So this is the autorun.sh that I want to run. So to run it now, I'm just going to type ./autorun.sh. So I'm on autorun.sh and press enter to run it. So it's going to ask you for the password. So I'm going to type in the password there, enter, and the VirtualBox Guest Addition installer is being installed right now. So the installation of the VirtualBox Guest Additions may take a while, so just be patient for it to complete. So now it's completed. It's asking to press return to close this window, so I'm just going to hit on the enter key here. So I'm going to also close this terminal here. Close it, then I can restart the virtual machine. Click this battery icon here, and you're going to see, click on the power off, restart, then restart. So the VM is going to restart now and apply all the functionalities that we've added to it. Now that our Ubuntu virtual machine have restarted, so I'm going to log in again. So you can just close these. Yes, now we've successfully installed the Ubuntu virtual machine on the VirtualBox that reside on the Windows host, and we have the Ubuntu virtual machine set up with best performance and extra functionalities. Now if you maximize the page, you can see that it's filled up the entire video. So this is how you can install the Ubuntu virtual machine on VirtualBox on the Windows host. So thank you for following up through to the end this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Thank you.